My name is Isaac and I work in the Office of Engagement at the university here. The panel today is going to talk about studying business here at Southern Cross and what you can expect both from the course and a career once you graduate. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge we are on the traditional lands of the Bundjalung Nation today and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. We're joined by some wonderful guests today. We have Dr. Scott Nyblock. He is a Senior Lecturer and Course Coordinator of the Bachelor of Business here at Southern Cross. We also have Nevenka Fletcher. She is Senior Communications Officer at New South Wales Reconstruction Authority. And we have Yash Seagrot, who is currently in his third year of the Bachelor of Business and Enterprise and works at Funding What Matters, a financial services provider. We're going to kick start by asking Yash, why did you choose to study business at Southern Cross?
I've actually always, it was always the plan to come to SCU. My mum went to Southern Cross Uni, I think she graduated in 2015. So as soon as I finished high school and while I was in high school, it was always my dream to also come to the same uni as she had always spoken about how it was the perfect uni for her because there's less people here, so more focus on learning. She didn't feel so, isolated as she did in her previous uni life. So I actually found that to be very true when I came here. I felt like there was enough teachers here to around and in a good crowd. I actually picked business because I felt it was a very practical degree. And when I was looking at the degrees, I was never originally going to do business. I was going to do biomed. And I just thought I needed something practical that was related to somewhere where I was going to be staying, which is the Gold Coast, of course. And business just seemed like it seems something like I would be able to go into in the Gold Coast. So yeah, that's why I picked it. And also SCU's got the beach nearby, so that was a bit of a bonus.
They didn't have to twist your arm too hard, I'm guessing.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, so good. Nevenka, how has studying business at Southern Cross set you up for a successful start to your career?
Yeah, so when I did my business unit, you had to do a 12-week placement at the end. So you spent your first couple of years getting ready and learning all the skills that you'll need to go out into the workforce, and then a 12-week block at the end, which was part learning but part also being in the workforce as well. So my first 12-week placement was as an events coordinator at a local council, and then after the 12-week they actually decided to keep me on. So that was my first full-time job out of uni, being paid quite nicely for a 20-something-year-old and just continuing that onward. And yeah, I worked in councils for many years and now I've transferred into state government. So that was kind of like my first pathway into getting to where I really want to be in life now, which is working for state government in New South Wales.
Yeah, awesome. I've got some ratings I'll quickly mention here about our business degree at Southern Cross. So we're rated 5 stars for full-time employment in business and management. That's with the Good Unis Guide. And also 93% of our graduates find employment in business. That's from the Graduate Outcome Survey. Scott, how do you see the Bachelor of Business setting students up for a successful career?
Thanks, Isaac. Look, this rating has a lot to do with the professional work experience and networking opportunities that students receive throughout the degree. For instance, there's the opportunity for students to undertake an internship or an industry project and learn from business experts like both in and outside the classroom. So, graduating with a Bachelor of Business will provide numerous career opportunities, such as becoming an entrepreneur, a licensed accountant, a licensed financial planner, a marketing manager, a business analyst, an event manager, or even a commercial pilot. So when it comes to employment outcomes, there's endless possibilities studying business at SCU.
Fantastic, thanks, Scott. Yash, back to you. Southern Cross recently went through, a redevelopment of our course structure and how we teach and how students learn with the Southern Cross model. How have you found studying business in this new Southern Cross model?
I really enjoy the 6-week modules. It's actually really worked out for me. I mean, I never actually did the 12-week one, but for me, as a student going into first year uni, doing 6 weeks of 2 units on and then 2 weeks off, I found that really it aligned well with my day-to-day work schedule. So I was able to even work part-time and then do uni, and then also the 2-week break was really good. I felt that that was a bit more engaging for me, as I tend to lose a bit of focus, towards the end of the term. So doing the 6 weeks on and then 2 weeks break was a good way to kind of refocus, take a bit of a break, and then go into the next term with a fresh mind and ready for more learning.
Yeah, fantastic. I imagine you build a fair bit of momentum and all of that throughout the year as well.
Definitely, and then at the end of the year, it was good because I always thought that uni was like an endless thing, and you wouldn't have any social life. But when I got to the end of first year, and they said, "Oh, you won't be back until March next year," I'm like, "Oh, this is great." So I got time to work and make some money, and then got back into uni fresh, ready to go for another year.
So good, so good. Navenka, how do you find your study and life balance was while you were studying business here at Southern Cross? And I know an element of how we teach is we have online as an option as well.
Yeah, so I did 2 degrees at Southern Cross. So I did my bachelor's and then my master's. In my bachelor's, I did full-time uni, but I also worked part-time. So back before work from home was quite popular, I had a work from home job, which allowed a bit more flexibility. But there was definitely, the potential to be able to go to uni and then work when you had your breaks, but also the fun elements of uni, which is like making friends and going out with them. I was in the SCU netball club, and I still play in the SCU netball club in Lismore, and that's where I made most of my friends during uni. And we did netball on the weekends and netball during the week and pub crawls and all sorts of different things. So there was definitely lots of fun elements as well. And also having the time, I moved 3 hours away from my family, so having the time to go back and visit them. And I found that all really accomplishable and without being too stressed about anything. And then for my master's, I did that online. So I finished uni, got my full-time job, and worked full-time and did my master's in the afternoon in a bit of a spare time, which was a little bit more challenging, but definitely doable as well. So yeah, it's something you can do if you need to have a job to get yourself through, or you're worried about not being able to spend times with your friends and family. You'll definitely be able to do that. Just time manage, and it's all possible.
Yeah, I know. And part of the 2-unit setup is you can actually pull back to 1 unit part-time, so you can make it work for you. Scott, under the Southern Cross model, we are seeing students have better success rates, high grades and lower fail rates. Could you speak to the benefits of this style of learning?
Yeah, look, the improved success rates are attributable to the Southern Cross model. We offer tailor designed and flexible study options by studying where and when you want with the 6-week terms. So this flexibility allows students to be able to fast track their degree, as we've mentioned, a lot of flexibility around that, or to be able to study at their own pace. So there might be instances where you may not want to study the full-time load and drop it back to 1 unit, or you may have a work opportunity and you may not want to study that term. So that's a fair bit of flexibility that the program offers. The success rates are definitely attributable to the teaching staff and how we deliver. If you look at other universities and their business degrees compared to Southern Cross University, here you can study 1 to 2 units, and you would have half the amount of assignments under the Southern Cross model. So this promotes focused and immersive learning, and it allows for better study-life balance. I personally believe the Southern Cross model is a better way to learn.
Yeah, great. Yash, you're studying financial services specialisation, and you're in your final year and working in the industry. Could you share why you chose this area and what you've been enjoying most about it?
So when I first picked the financial services specialist course, there was only 4 major courses to choose. I found this one to be the most engaging one because it was a bit of a broad category. It wasn't sort of specific in any particular field. So I picked that thinking, if I do this course, I'll end up with a degree that I can apply in most aspects of my life. And that's definitely come into clutch, because even in my learning in the course, I've learnt a lot of practical things through like the taxation course and the superannuation course. I find that when I'm doing these courses, it's becoming more real in my life. I'm going, oh yeah, I should probably start looking at these things for myself. And then, in doing that, I'll then be able to help other people in the future in that same field. So it's very practical indeed.
Yeah, fantastic. You're almost guaranteed that you'll always be of use because this is things that everyone has to work with
That's
every day.
correct, for sure.
So good. Navenka, could you speak to your work in communications currently, why you chose this area, and what you love most about it?
Yeah, so I started off in tourism and events management, which is a little bit different to communications, but also same. I think what a lot of people don't realise when you're working in tourism and events, you're doing a lot of strategy, communications, marketing, getting a lot of feedback from your events and doing a lot of development. So naturally for me, moving into communications and engagement more broadly was just taking the skills that I'd learnt from tourism events and applying them across community. So that might look like infrastructure projects, communications to your town about what's going on, communications to the state about things that are happening in their area or what might impact them. At the moment, I work for the New South Wales Reconstruction Authority and mainly on the Resilient Homes program in the Northern Rivers, which is quite a powerful program after the 2022 floods. There was a lot of devastation in the Northern Rivers, and what our program does is take people out of harm's way, either by buying their homes back or raising their homes so that if flood does impact the area again, that they'll be able to move. So yeah, it's quite rewarding, and being able to sit down with people every day and listen to their stories and then communicate back to them how the government and our organisation might be able to help them is like kind of life-changing for a lot of people. They're very hard and difficult conversations, but part of what you do at uni is learn about your critical thinking and how to talk to people and the things that are going to happen and go on in the world. And it's just good to be able to work in the community and see that the work that you do has real life impacts.
Exactly. I can speak as well. I've got two different family members that were affected by the flood and have been in contact with your team. So thanks for all the work that you guys are doing. It shows, business isn't just about the bottom line, about driving profit. You can do business and have real world impact wherever you want to go. So good job, Navenka. Scott, could you please speak to the Bachelor of Business, spend a bit of time going into the different areas you can major in or specialise in?
Sure, Isaac. Look, the Bachelor of Business focuses on innovation, technology and sustainability, allowing our job-ready students to be able to develop practical business skills and engage in multidisciplinary learning experiences. The Bachelor of Business has 6 majors that we offer, including entrepreneurship and innovation, business and data analytics, marketing, you can do international business, you've got tourism and event management and aviation management. Students can also undertake fully accredited specialisation in accounting or financial services. The accounting specialisation is CPA and Chartered Accountants accredited, and the financial services specialisation is accredited through the Treasury's Financial Advisor Standards. Students can also do a double degree in business with some of our other exciting discipline areas such as law, arts, psychology, information technology and engineering. And some of our students also take up the option to study overseas for a couple of terms throughout their studies. So that's always quite exciting for students. They end up in, fantastic locations in Asia, Europe, the Americas. So that's another added benefit of studying at Southern Cross University.
If you had to pick one favourite child out of all the specialisations and majors, which one would you pick, Scott?
I absolutely have to say financial services, and I think it's just testament of the students that we work with here at Southern Cross University with Yash, just doing such a fantastic job in financial services. And I'm really passionate about financial services. I'm also a Southern Cross University alumni. I started, I went all the way through, so I did my Bachelor of Business. I then did an honours in Bachelor of Business, majoring in finance. I then became an equities broker and a private client advisor, and I worked for a couple of years. And I guess I had a bit of my transforming moment when I got a phone call from one of my previous lecturers saying, how's it all going? Have you thought about coming back and doing a PhD? And I gave it some thought and I went, you know what, this is what I'm really quite passionate about. And I guess through my experience at Southern Cross University, it led me back, and I was able to sort of bring what I'd sort of learned in the workplace back into what I do here at Southern Cross University with my teaching and my research. And I love to be able to share that with students like Yash and with the other, academic staff and the practitioners who come into our classrooms and teach students.
Can I just add, Isaac, obviously a lot of the people I went to uni with are now well into their careers, and just the different pathways that everyone's chosen. I've got a friend that now works for a judge because they did a law and business degree. I've got friends that works in events. They work for brewing companies doing businesses for them. One person I went to uni with used his business degree to be an influencer and is now quite successful on Netflix. I won't name drop, but if you want to ask me after, you all know who it is. There's just so many different and fun opportunities that people can go on with, and I'm always surprised at where some of the people and my friends have headed in all different directions, even though we all started in the same spot. And with the opportunity for exchange, I did 2 overseas programs when I was at uni. So the New Colombo plan, which I think still runs. So that was fully funded to go over to Singapore and learn about businesses over there and talk to some general managers and the director of the zoo over there about the different things that they were doing. And also we got to go out and experience cultural and go to cooking classes. And then not long after that, I went to France for a couple of weeks and did a business unit at the Rennes School of Business there, and that was all through the university. So there's heaps of opportunities to do things like that if you see them come along, and just put your hand up and you'll probably have a good crack at getting into it.
So good, Navenka. I can also testify as an alumni of Southern Cross. I studied the Bachelor of Business as well. I pretty much came out of high school knowing, I like business, but I didn't have any idea on what my future career might look like. I thought maybe management, started the degree, and essentially the first year you really get a good taste for all the different avenues you could go down. And I found marketing to be what I loved. It was creative, it was strategic, it was a bit of fun. And from there I was able to then decide what I wanted to major in my second and third year. And now I get to work at Southern Cross in marketing. So I would give a lot of weight to, you can start your business degree without exactly knowing where you want to end up, but just know there's a lot of flexibility.
If you would have told me that I would have worked in flood recovery, I can guarantee when I was at uni I wouldn't have even known what it was. So that you just pick things up along the way, and sometimes different circumstances will land you somewhere you weren't even thinking of at the start.
I think, just to add, I just think that shows that our students and our graduates are job ready. And there's just such a diverse area in business that you can move into. So you start off, you won't know what you want to do, but as you move through the degree, similar to what Yash was saying, that once he got into the second year, it just became very clear that finance and financial services was his path. And, look, in terms of jobs, my phone as the program coordinator for the Bachelor of Business is ringing off the hook, basically from local employers and industry partners saying, Scott, have you got any graduates that you could send our way? Because, you guys in the past, we've worked with you guys in the past, and, that's what we're known for in the marketplace. We've got really good graduate outcomes.
Fantastic. Yash, can you speak to, I guess, the intensity of the course and the support you receive from the teachers and lecturers?
So I've obviously, now that I'm in my third year, I've had pretty much met and got to interact with most of the teachers of all the units. Just a little heads up, when I was in high school, my teachers told me once you get into university, if you don't do your work, or if if you're struggling, the teachers will just let you sink. It's all very focused, and you have to be, it's all you. I would say it's very different to what they told me. So if any of your teachers in the crowd, if your teachers have told you the same thing, I think it's very different to that. SCU is all about support. Pretty much all the teachers I've had in all of the units, if you reach out to them, or if you ask for help, if you're sinking even, I've always found they've got a way of getting you back on track, and also with the modules that SCU's got in place, online, I feel like that's also a really good way to progress in the course. So if you do, if you're a bit of a do-it-yourself sort of person, that's also really good. But it's also got that interactive side where the teachers are there to help, and they're always there to support. So I've always found that SCU's always provided support for my learning.
Fantastic. I'll finish with a rating that business is rated 5-star for student support in the Good Universities Guide for 2024 for business. So what Yash is saying is validated by rankings across the board. Thanks for your time, guys. I'd like to throw it out to our audience now. Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask the panel?
I'd just like to ask, how is the business faculty and maybe Southern Cross University widely protecting the integrity of assessments with AI being such a threat? What's your faculty doing?
Yeah, look, that's a really good point. And I guess this AI wave or revolution has just sort of come upon all of us, and it significantly impacts universities because we have to look at how we're delivering our courses and how we assess. And, Southern Cross University moved quite quickly with our academic integrity type software that we use and policies around how we manage that, and then also like how we interpret it. AI, generative AI is here to stay. Like, we can't get rid of that. And, we're not going to be a university that comes out and says, you cannot use generative AI in your studies. However, the way we we like a bit of a balanced approach where we say, okay, generative AI is here. Okay, you can use it as like a tutor, ask a question from it, use that information, put it into your assignment. If you're going to use it, you need to reference it and cite it just like you would any other piece of information. And then, we have the software to be able to pick up on whether students are actually adhering to that. And we have policies around if you're not adhering to the instructions provided by the unit assessors, that it becomes an academic integrity matter, just like any other type of academic misconduct or plagiarism. But yeah, I just want to make it clear that we're here to support the technology and use it, but we also have things in place to make sure that we're managing that.
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to throw to the panel?
So I'm interested in studying like the stock market and stuff like that, so business, data analytics, that stuff, also financial planning, basically learning stuff for my own purposes and then helping others that you've mentioned as well. Just bouncing off of AI, the past year or two we've seen like massive inroads in AI, the likes of NVIDIA going up in the stock market, the huge profits in that area that are increasing to go forward. I was just wondering, how is the university going to incorporate AI? I know the negatives AI, like students, using AI for purposes, but how is the university incorporating AI into its programs and also building off of that into the future?
Yeah, that's some good points you've raised there. And as I mentioned before, we've got a really strong focus on technology at Southern Cross University, particularly in the business programs. And in our finance and data analytics courses, we're building AI, into tasks that would relate to perhaps constructing and managing a portfolio. So not disregarding it, but using AI to make better decisions for the portfolio, for the potential clients. And a lot of the scenarios are based around real world stuff. So, you'd be investing in an ASX 200 portfolio or a global portfolio of multiple assets. How can we use Gen AI to drive that decision making? And that's something that we're fully supportive of in our finance courses and our business and data analytics courses.
Awesome. We're going to have to stop there for times. I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us today. So thank you, everybody. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.